I'm gonna kind of work it like a jigging wrap here. Oh, wow, wow. What's up, fisher people? That fish hit it before it ever hit the bottom. I cast it out and set my rod down to take a bite of banana and saw the rod just rattling as it was falling. I was like, oh, I have a fish. So I don't know if this video is going to turn out or not, because sometimes experiments don't, but today is potentially an all-day CrappieT jig and spoon day. I should probably be careful calling it a CrappieT jig and spoon. I don't want its head to get any bigger than it already is, but we've been on a pretty good bite lately. Caught a lot of fish with jigging wraps. We're starting to catch a few on minnows here and there. And I just want to try some new things today. And I've only ever caught one walleye on this jigging spoon, and it was a 26 incher. So maybe this thing has big fish potential, I don't know. But it's a little lighter to work. And I don't know exactly the best way to work it yet, honestly. I'm kind of treating it like a jigging wrap, but then sometimes working it a little slower, just kind of pulling it or reeling it across the bottom too. Trying to figure out what works best. But so anyway, that's the plan, that's the intro. We're gonna see what happens. And hopefully I can catch something bigger than an 8-inch white bass later. Pulled up to a new spot here, and first cast, I hooked into something pretty heavy here, I think, on the jigging spoon. The jigging spoon, producing something large. Something large. This is also not a spot that I've fished before. This is kind of new to me. So I'm very curious to see what it is. It's a spot I've been wanting to kind of look at. I saw just stacks of marks in here that looked really nice. It is a walleye, and I did kind of side snag it with the old jig and spoon. But it's a nice one. It's a nice thick walleye. Yee! I was hoping he bit. That's what I was hoping for. Maybe there's just that many in there that I was able to just rip right through them and catch one in the fin there. So I don't know if we count that yet as a success necessarily. Wow, he took off fast. He was in a hurry, but we got one. There's just piles of them loaded down there. I'm gonna kind of work it like a jigging wrap here. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Just crushed it. Oh. I think this is much bigger because he bit it. He bit it. He bit it good. Oh boy. Oh no, I did snag him again. I'll be darned. There must just be that many down here. Whoa, that's a big fish to snag. That's a 20-inch walleye. Snagged in the fin. Jeez. I gotta get one to bite. I do have to get one to bite. That would change things for me a lot. Wow, there's spunky fish. Goodness gracious, that thing is strong and ready to go. Holy cow. So the jigging spoon can snag fish equally as good as the jigging wrap. All right, what about the jigging wrap? I'm gonna play around with a little control cast here. They haven't actually bit the jigging spoon yet. They've just been snagged by it. I had one of my first two casts, and the next two casts were empty. I tried a little vertical, I didn't get a take, so I want to see if it'll hit the wrap. If I can get one to bite the wrap, I'll go back to the spoon, see. If I keep working them on the spoon, there's so many fish in here. So far, I'm still not having luck getting eats. I'm getting them to look down at the graph here, like they are looking. He's definitely taking a look at this, for sure. He's dancing all over that jigging wrap, but he's not biting it. I'll just kind of keep flipping back and forth here, see if I can go and actually bite. I don't want to snag fish all day. There's another one. Let's see if he got it in the mouth this time. Feels like another good fish. Feels like another good one. Up there on the shelf in about 28 feet of water. This camera out on this fish here. If he's in the mouth, he's good. I don't know if I would have snagged 3 in a row. That seems odd. Nope. He's in the mouth. He's in the mouth. Jigging spoon for the win. Biting the jigging spoon. Rolling around in here like a pike. Twisting everything up. That's okay. I'll take it. Nice fish. Dang. Nice quality, fat, fall, Sakakawea, jigging spoon, walleyes. Nice, chubby fish. Back in the water. That one got it in the mouth for sure. So I honestly have no idea how you're supposed to work these things, especially outside of ice fishing season. But I've been kind of working it like a jigging wrap. Maybe just doing more sweeps and pulls as opposed to quick snaps, I suppose. But I'm just gonna kind of experiment with different things and see what it is that'll get them to bite it. That's what's worked so far. But I would assume it's mostly a reaction bait, a lot like a jigging wrap. So I'm kind of treating it like that. Only the 3 so far. Certainly like to get a few more before I consider this a walleye killer. But it can work. It can work. A little smaller one, but he bit right in the mouth again. Walleyes will bite the jigging spoon. That's a fact. Ooh, there's more down there. Kind of cruised around, zigzagged a little bit. Got on top, some more marks again. They keep sliding around this spot a lot, chasing bait. So I can't sit still very long, I don't think. So we got 4 off this spot on jigging spoons. This is a thing. This is an option. I could get into this. The one thing I do really like about this is that the spoon's not quite as heavy as a jigging wrap. I don't think they can shake these hooks quite as well. I think once you get a fish hooked, I don't think you're gonna lose as many fish on a jigging spoon as a jigging wrap. That's kind of a nice little feature. Yeah, and I've yet to miss a fish. Every time I've gotten a bite or pulled into one and snagged them, I've gotten everything in the boat. So I like the hookup ratio. Even though it has fewer hooks than a jigging wrap, like I said, I don't think they can throw the hooks as well. So hookups are good. Keeping fish pinned is good. I like that. I like it a lot. Might have to experiment more with colors. All I have is the clowny, purpley, chartreusey mix match thing that CrappieT sent me, which is great because I didn't have any otherwise. But someday I might have to try some more color stuff. First of all, I want to make sure I can get a little more confidence in the bait itself, just working it, catching more fish on it, feeling better about it, and then colors will come later, I think. I don't know if I would ever, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the situation I would go to this instead of a jigging Rap. I suppose if there was a day where the jigging Rap bite was tough and I just wanted to try something else, I'd probably throw one of these on and see what I could do with it. I think a jigging Rap's still probably more of a go-to for me. Probably prefer to use that, but it's nice to have other options. It's nice to try new things and new techniques. That's cool. That's a cool thing. So the sweepy pull though is a little more of an arm burner, honestly. Like if you're cracking these, they don't have as much resistance as a jigging Rap. But if you're kind of pulling it, that works. That works some things. That could get a little tiring and a little sore. I don't know which way to go yet, so I'm not going to get too worked up about it. I'm just going to focus on catching a few more fish first. Also, another thing I was thinking about doing, some of the viewers had asked me about doing like a Q&A video kind of thing, probably during the winter when I'm not doing much, if any, fishing. And my first thought and response was, I don't know if I have enough viewers or people that would ask questions or care, but maybe I'm wrong about that. So if I'm wrong and you got a bunch of questions, either just say, yeah, I got questions, and we'll figure out how to do that through email or message or something, or maybe just leave the questions here on the YouTube video. And if I get a bunch of those, yeah, that'd be something fun to do for the winter time. Stuck in the house during snowy, icy, cold weather. Just do a little mailbag. Do a little David Letterman mailbag, huh? And if nobody asks any questions, then we won't do a video. What the heck? Who knows? You don't know if you don't ask. And at least a few people have asked. So we'll start with that. All right, back to walleye fishing. It's kind of slowed down here for me. Kent's over there popping them pretty good on minnows. Working them pretty slowly. So I think the fast action bite might have kind of died, and now it's more of a finessey thing. But my goal is to work jigging spoons. Oh! I decided to put on a jigging Rap to try out too. And I just got one on the jigging Rap, honestly. So it's not a jigging spoon. So maybe you still can catch a few on the reaction bite right now. That's good too. That's also good. But yeah, Kent's been hammering over there on minnows. It's been probably a good 20 minutes since I've had a fish in the boat until this guy here. So the bite's different. The fish kind of scattered a little bit, but okay. So if I can pick one up on a jigging Rap, now maybe I'll go back to the spoon. See if I can pick one up on the spoon. Keep working that again, so here we go. There's another one on the jigging spoon. Turn my kicker off so you can hear better. Feels like a good fish too. Now it's feeling a little lighter. Not gonna be a bad one, I don't think. Oh, there he goes. Now it's head shaking. Now it's shaking the old head. What you got here, girl? Ooh, nice fish. Nice fish. Stay out there. Stay out there. Ah. All right. So that is officially a limit of fish on the jigging spoon, plus a bonus on the old jigging Rap. So cool. Wind's really picking up too. That's why I had the kicker on. But yeah, it's working. The jigging wraps, spoons are working. Jigging spoons. I gotta get used to that, jigging spoon. The one thing I'm not super fond of is they do seem to foul up fairly frequently like that. Probably more often than I experience with the jigging wrap. So that's kind of a downer. But it also depends on how erratically you're working it. If you're not gripping it too hard and too wildly, it doesn't seem to do it. But if you are and you're trying to really trigger a bite, which sometimes I got one fish, the last fish I was kind of cracking it like a jigging wrap, and then actually felt the bite on the way down and slammed it and set the hook. So yeah, then you might have to worry about fouling up a little more often, but you can tell really easily when they are fouled up, because they pull, like a jigging wrap has a little extra pull. This is like, almost feels like you have a fish on if this thing's fouled up. It's so much different. So you'll know, at least, that's for sure. Oh mama, this is not a walleye, but that's kind of fun. That's a beast smallmouth. It's a beast. Oh, look at that. That's a tanker. Jumping out of the water and everything. Oh, I don't know if I can get that. You know, I suspected these things would catch other fish, and they did. That is a beast. Smallie. Whew. Fun stuff. And I don't know if there's anything specific to brands and types or whatever, but here's one in the package. That's what I got. Cabela's, courtesy of CrappieT's care package. Of course, he also sent me some toothpaste, toothbrush, and dental floss, which was kind of. So yeah, if anybody wants to try it, that's what it looks like. They're pretty large. What does it say here? 1 ounce. 1 ounce jigging. Wow. This actually is heavier than a jigging wrap. It doesn't have quite the same pull, but it is heavier. That's kind of surprising to me. So it's a big hunk of metal down there. There's one. Gotcha. Gotcha. Nice. What was I talking about? Yeah, big hunk of metal. Apparently you can get them at Cabela's. That's what brand this one was. And let's see what we got on this jigging spoon. Another walleye in the mouth. A fat old 18-incher. Oh, nice fish. So there's 6 jigging spoon fish, and I was getting a little nervous when those first 2 were both snagged, but the next 4 have all bit it in the mouth. Yeah, I mean, it's just another reaction bait that can work just so. If for some reason you don't dig jigging wraps, don't like jigging wraps, want to try something different, try a jigging spoon. There's a pretty good ad for it, right? They're really starting to hammer them now. Oh, I think this wind picking up is starting to concentrate them in certain areas. So I slid over here a little bit to where I marked some bigger pods of fish, and I got back on them a little bit. This is a smaller one, but he got it in the mouth too. But you gotta like getting back-to-back casts both on camera with hook sets. That's some fun stuff. I'm just gonna keep throwing back over there. And it's nice, like I got these fish here in 28 feet of water now. I like that they're coming up a little shallower. And I'm basically just like setting up. There's this big ledge that drops off into deep water. Typical fall spot, you know. And I'm casting right along, which is, it sucks because it's sideways into the wind. but I'm working it along that break line in 28 to 30 feet the whole way, staying in fish, staying in the strike zone, which is nice. I mean, you could just cast downwind off the ledge, work it back up, and maybe run into a fish or two along the way, but I've noticed in this case, they're very stacked on pretty much the exact same depth and line, so I want to keep them in that group of fish the whole way. I drove around the whole ledge and continued to see fish after fish after fish, all right off the break. So now that I know they're all sitting there, that's where I want my cast to go. Another thing I've done more with these two, after experimenting and thinking about it, is, oh shoot, that might have been a rock. You know, with the jigging wrap, it's really important to let it fall on a slack line to get that action on the way down. I don't know if that's quite as important with these. I think more of the action is when you pull it, and then it, you know, when it falls, it probably flutters a little bit. But I've been trying to keep, I pull it and then I kind of slowly reel down to it to keep a little bit of contact with my line on the way down, and I felt the bites that way. So maybe it does get a better action if you let it fall on a slack line. And it does, as I drop it in the water, I can see it kind of move a little bit. So it might be good to keep just a little bit of slack there, but if you can kind of keep within touch of it, especially if you got braid, I think you're gonna feel that thump more often when the fish bites it. Which is nice because unlike with the jigging wrap, a lot of times you just yank into a fish, and with these, I think if you can feel the bite and then actually set the hook, you got a better chance of getting a good hookup ratio. So I don't know. I'm undecided about that yet, but I think it might be good to almost reel into it and follow this down a little bit and feel the bites. And I don't let it hit the bottom necessarily every time either. I kind of just keep crawling it along the bottom, because as flat as it is, I think they can pin a jigging wrap a lot easier than they can pin this, is the point. It's so flat, it's going to be flat as a pancake on the bottom, and I don't know how many times you'll get a fish picking it up off the bottom of the lake with these. I could be wrong, but it's the sense I get. So I've been trying to kind of, every once in a while, let it hit bottom to make sure I'm down there, but I'm not terribly concerned with constantly landing on the bottom of the lake with these. All right, we popped 3 quick ones, and then I kind of slowed down here. Let's toss the jigging wrap. See if we can get a bite with that. And that could be another interesting application here, like, because I've always had that experience of, like, you get on a good pot of fish and a few of them will bite. Like, typically I do this with like an artificial and a live bait thing. You get a few to bite, your quick snappy jigging wrap, and then you drop some live bait down on a jig or something, you get a few to bite that. The fish that weren't quite in chase mode. I also wonder if just having 2 different reaction bites, a jigging wrap and a jigging spoon, could be a good 1-2 punch, where you catch 2, 3, 4 fish, throw a few casts without anything, maybe try throwing the jigging wrap and see if they hit the jigging wrap with the remaining fish. In terms of rod, gear, setup, all that kind of stuff, I'm just using my jigging wrap setup for these. I don't see why not. You might be able to go with a medium light on this as opposed to a medium, but it weighs the same as a jigging wrap and you're working it very similar, so I'm thinking pretty much the same setup would do. You could probably use mono with this if you wanted to, but you could also do it with the jigging wrap. I'll probably stick with the braid. I like to be able to feel the bites that way. That's helpful. I don't think you'd feel as many bites with mono, so I'm gonna stick with braid. Hooked up with one more on the jigging wrap for good measure. Feels like a decent one too. Unless he's snag. Yeah, he's a little side snaggy. Oh shoot. Oh well. You know what? with that, I think we'll wrap up this video. I don't want to side snag another walleye. And I think we've gotten a pretty good idea that the jigging spoons can catch good fish too out here in Lake Sakakawea, and I'm sure plenty of other places. So give that some thought. Think about trying it out. If you got any questions, let me know. I don't have a lot of answers when it comes to jigging spoons yet, but I don't know. Who knows? And if you have thoughts about questions for, you know, a winter Q&A or something, we can do that too. And if you don't, no big deal. I'll just keep making videos. So like, subscribe, check out some other videos. See you next time. Adios, fisher people.